Hi everyone, Jesse here with Leadership Lessons Live. Hope you are enjoying your Wednesday afternoon and staying cool wherever you are. As you may know, I'm exploring this concept of community. How do we build a community? What does community mean? I'm excited to share with you a conversation that I had with Calli Rothberg a few days ago. Calli is a young professional in the technology industry. She is a strong saleswoman by day and a dancer performer by night. She's also a recently published author, so very busy and grateful that she had a few minutes to chat with me about what community means to her, how does she think about building community, what happens when community confronts a challenging situation, and a bunch of other things. So to kick us off, I want to share with you what Calli has to say around what community means to her.
Yeah, so to me, community is all about the space that a group of people create. And within a community, I think that there needs to be room for growth, but also failure, and just the support that comes with both of those things. There needs to be a real level of trust and understanding amongst the community members, and in order to grow and or fail. And from my experience working in business, specifically in technology, but also in dance as a dance performer and being a big part of that community, it really comes down to creating a space where everyone feels welcome and heard. Not necessarily where everyone is best friends and knows every single person extremely well, but I think the big benefits of community, when there is this trust and understanding, is that there's an abundance of resources. And so you have all access to all of these different people and minds and tools that you wouldn't have if you were alone or otherwise.
Did you notice how Callie's description of what community means to her is active? There's nothing passive about it. It takes work, it takes effort to create that trust, understanding, welcoming environment. I think that's super critical, and I'm glad that she hit that point home on why community building, actively community building, is so important. Um, the next part of our conversation, we talked about how do we create community. In my most recent video, I shared a few different ideas around how we can create community via shared interests, continuous learning, shared activities. And I love how Callie brought up a fourth item, a fourth idea around leading by example.
Just an example I have for in my current company, the CEO, he is in charge of a global team. We're spread across the entire world: South America, North America, Africa, Europe, everywhere, and we're all fully remote. However, he's made himself extremely approachable. There's the ability to message him directly on Slack, ask him anything, and I think that by him having that just camaraderie with everyone in the company and really wanting everyone to know each other and getting to know people himself, shows that we, as members of the community, as members of the team, um, have the, I guess, responsibility or the permission to do the same thing, to reach out to someone and schedule a coffee or a Zoom call, whatever it may be. So I think leadership by example is huge.
I love that story, particularly for today's world. If you have the privilege from working from home, community building can be hard. But there are tools out there like Slack that we can use to help create a thriving community. And leading by example, specifically leadership, leading by example is critical for the health of a community. So far, we've talked about what community means and how do we build community, but what happens when we confront an organization that is resistant to community? Well, that's what happened to Callie. She shared with me that she tried to create community at an old workplace and it just was not working. And she had to make the decision on whether she was going to stay or leave. And here's what happened.
I ultimately realized that the people in this community that I entered were not not willing. They were not, or just didn't have the same vision that I had for our workplace community. And so ultimately, I made, it took a while to figure that out and come to terms with it, and also be okay with it. Everyone's different. People thrive in different venues, different areas. But ultimately, how I overcame that challenge was, I ended up finding a new community that better supported me and was really what I needed to succeed.
I think that takes courage for Callie to realize that that previous workplace was just not her place where she was going to succeed, and that community was not there. So kudos to Callie for choosing what means for her and what she needed to do in that moment. The final part of our conversation I want to share with you is a story from Callie's dance career with the Bad Girls Club with Charleston, South Carolina. And the story that she's going to share is around what happens when your existing community faces a challenge.
It was show day, and we were going through a dress rehearsal, and there's this community of 50 women that are in this show, and stress is high. There's a lot of things, a lot of time and effort and money have gone into this show, like individually and as a whole. And um and there were just some clashes in personality and things that happened. Words were said. And what was so beautiful about this moment is that our leader, the producer of the show, again, led by example, sat everyone down and said, we're not doing this show unless we can come to a conclusion of love and support and make sure that everyone feels safe in this community. And really just, you know, took the reins and like rolled everything back, and showed the true importance of coming back to the roots of why was this community built. And the producer, she wanted to create a space of safety and support and love for a bunch of women who just want to dance. And to her, that in that moment, she really showed that it wasn't about the show or the performance. It's about the community. And if we're, over here attacking each other and not getting along, and no one's going to like the show, the outcome's not going to be good. And so I think that just a huge way to really grow and have a community that thrives is to always remember, like, why did you create it, and what are the main purposes or goals or reasons around that, and come back to that whenever you need it. You like fall back to that reasoning, and don't lose sight of it.
I just want to take a second and show you what outcome Callie and her group could put together. Their shows are fabulous. So if you're in Charleston, you should definitely check them out. There are so many key points that I took away from the conversation I had with Callie, but here are just a few that resonated with me. The importance of leading by example, and the story that she shared of her producer doing just that. And, coming out and saying to her community that we're not doing this show, we're not doing this ultimate thing that we've been working towards unless we can come to a conclusion of love, support, and make sure everyone feels safe in the community. So that to me is pretty powerful. And then the other parts too is what means, what elements are there to create a community, and just these four that she outlined in the beginning around trust and understanding, support and growth and failure, abundance of resources, and welcoming. And when those elements were not present, Callie knew that it was time for her to leave. So again, I think that takes courage to recognize that that community was not supporting her and supporting her success. So I hope you all had a great time listening to this conversation I had with Callie and continuing to explore this concept of community and community building. I have a few other interviews that I've been working on, and I'm excited to share them with you, so stay tuned for more. Leadership Lessons Live, we are committed to developing a premier platform for high quality, meaningful online content and showcasing diverse business leaders and their knowledge and skills to a community like you. So, any feedback, ideas, you want to learn more, fill out the Google form that's included in the link below. And would love to hear your thoughts. And thanks so much for watching. Have a great evening. Bye.